Sup. The opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and Future Bachelor only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity. This fun podcast may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
No one on the corner got second like Future Bachelor! Swagger like us. No one on the corner.
Mr. West is in the building.
Yeah, sorry, I had to chop that off. But here we go. Future Bachelor, what's up? My name is Cy.
I'm Veronica.
And this is episode 79. Yeah. We in here. We had to start off with that vibe. Shout out to TM who suggested it over the weekend.
Taylor Marie. This was thanks to you. I wrote it in the note in my phone.
Nice.
And
genius. I gotta write things down. Like I know we'd say that was like a theme for a little while.
Like I'm a weirdo with my planner. Everything that goes on this outline starts in my planner.
Yeah, I honestly today was thinking about I need a planner. I need to start doing a planner, but I can't start like right now, right?
No, you could.
No, I don't want to buy a whole planner for 4 more months.
No, you get ones that are undated.
So
like you could do, or you could get ones that like they're undated. So then you like start.
So I have to do all the dates? No, I can't be doing all that. No, okay, that's too much.
There's some, especially, you're actually kind of hitting at a good time. You could probably get like an academic planner right now because it's like September.
Okay.
That would actually hit the right like amount of time. It would do the year from like now.
Till the next year.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Academic calendar. All right. Yeah, I got to get it because I just feel like there's so much going on these days. And if I'm actually going to be as productive as I want to be, I need to write things down.
Yeah, because what's been going on with your whiteboard?
Well, the thing is, I need to be able to transfer it to the whiteboard so I can see it there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could write it on my phone, but I don't. I just want like that. I think I'm good with lists and stuff.
It's same. So. It's just like scientifically proven, like time and time again, that like actually like taking pen to paper is so much more beneficial to your brain.
That's what people say. They say literally write it down. Like, what do you got to do? Like, where do I start? It's like, how do I get there? It's like, just break it down into the first like 3 steps and write those down, and that's your checklist. And from there, you kind of.
I'm gonna look up some links for planners. I'm excited.
Send me a dope one. I want a nice little dope little
what
one
size
for.
Are you looking at?
Like just like small, not like a big planner like yours. Probably a little smaller than yours.
Okay, smaller than mine. Okay,
yeah.
Like a little bit more compact.
Yeah, and something a little dope and something that's like fresh that I would actually like walk around with and look dope. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So. But yeah, thank you. Let me know.
Yeah, I wanna hook you up.
But yo, how are you? What's going on? What's been going on in your life?
Living, I'm thriving, I'm surviving.
Cool.
I'm excited because I have PTO on Friday.
Nice. You're going on your girls trip, huh?
Yeah.
Where are you headed to?
I'll be in like the Milwaukee area, so heading up north. So I'll actually get to enjoy some fall weather because it's been hot as fuck.
Oh wow, okay.
Here. Mm-hmm. Here in the ATL because this past week.
But it's been kind of cool at night, right?
Yeah.
It's not like super hot. It's starting to change.
It's starting, but it's still like I don't have a need to wear like sleeves.
I busted out a sweater today.
Yeah, but you don't need to wear it.
Yeah, but I would like to.
I know, but like I
just like to layer,
so do I. That's why I want like real cold weather because I'm always fucking warm.
Yeah.
So
well, cool down.
I can't help it.
Well, what did you get into this past weekend? How's everything?
So I had a little girls' night with my friends Morgan and Amy. Amy's heading to Italy for a little vacay, so we wanted to hang out, do like a nice little victory night at Victory with her before she left. I was fifth wheeling with Taylor Marie, Ray, and then their friends Antonio and Logan at the Battery. That's where Taylor Marie, we heard Paper Planes playing at one of the bars, and we're like, damn, this is such a good throw. They were playing a lot of good throwbacks, and we heard like Paper Planes, and we were like dancing to it, and we're like, we have to use this one. So
you were just like,
yeah, we were like, hey, we were like drinking our beer, like, hey, yeah.
This would be good for the podcast. Yeah. Let's get drunk, TM.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways. Like that. And then I won. I won I'm like been on a roll with winning Instagram little contests recently.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I feel like, Instagram contests, unless it's like a huge account, a lot of people, you have a better chance for sure. Like,
well, yeah. Well, I've been trying to do some more of like these more local, like Atlanta, but they're kind of bigger. Like this one that I just won was from.
They're well liked.
Yeah, it was like Yelp Atlanta. So like if it's like these local like accounts, like then I have a better chance of like winning like stuff to local events. So I'm like, whatever, fuck it.
Scamming the Instagram contest.
Of course. always scamming. I love a good scam. But so I won this. This is the second time I've won something from Yelp Atlanta because I saw it in the DMs.
Yeah.
I won like a T-shirt from them before. But won this contest to go to this 90s bar crawl.
Oh, cool.
And so like
you invited me?
You were out of town, babe.
What?
It
You
was
already
this
went?
weekend.
No!
But don't worry about it.
You didn't even tell me about it. I would have canceled the wedding plans.
No. It wasn't worth it because it was kind of a flop.
What?
Yeah, so like it just like there wasn't a lot of people participating, and
You mean like dressing up?
well, just like dressing up / being there in general. Like I dressed up, I had like a little my overall like short all skirt all kind of situation with a Bulls jersey underneath. I had a scrunchie.
Rep it.
And then I had a flannel. I was like ready to roll.
Yeah.
But and like my friend Maggie.
You had a scrunchie in your hair?
Yeah, like a little spout. My friend Maggie, like she was one who originally tagged me in it, and so like I tagged her back and then tagged however many other people, and I won. And so I brought her, and like we went to it, and it was in a weird area of Atlanta. It was like in the Lindbergh area, like borderline Buckhead, but not really. And it was only 2 bars, so it wasn't really a crawl. It was like this one weird like daiquiri bar.
Okay.
And then next door, the Taco Mac.
Okay.
And there wasn't really good specials. And we just, like, weren't it wasn't really a thing.
Okay.
So we were just like, kind of bummed. But I was like, well, at least this was for free. At least it was for free.
Well, it sounds like, a good time was still had, right?
Yeah, because then we just hung out. It was nice. So my friend Maggie just moved back. You're like, oh, she moved back during, like, Music Midtown weekend, so like only like a week or so ago.
The Maggie I met?
Not that Maggie,
Oh, okay,
a different Maggie. I know. 2 of my first friends in Atlanta were named Maggie.
Oh,
It's
that's
very
confusing. Yeah.
Very confusing. My friend Maggie Chidester, she just moved back, but so it was like nice for you got to just hang out, chill, drink, catch up, and just go over each other's lives since we haven't seen each other that often. And then I had a Sunday fun day, which was unplanned. And probably a dangerous thing for me to do. But, I'm out here surviving.
You do the unplanned Sunday fun day when hopefully that you don't have anything going on.
Yeah, I mean.
Like you kind of always, in the back of your mind, leave a Sunday open for a potential Sunday fun day.
I didn't really think. I thought, okay, I'll probably. Because I headed into a brunch with my friend Morgan and then one of her guy friends, Jordan, and then his brother were in town. It's like we went to brunch. And I think this is how it also became more like unplanned and more of a Sunday funny is because Jordan kept paying for everything.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, when I'm not paying for drinks, I'm not really keeping track of how many I'm drinking.
You're like, I'll stay.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, sure. But yeah, so I it was definitely fun time. But we both Morgan and I crashed and took a little nappy.
Sunday afternoon nap
in the evening, and so then it kind of fucked up our sleep schedule. So Monday was a little rough for me, just because I was like, I'm exhausted because I didn't sleep, and I'm anxious because it's like the wearing off of the alcohol, and just like also like being tired and being anxious because it's Monday. It was just like Monday. I was just like,
I feel you. Well, I had actually gone up to New York, and it was crazy. Like, it was just like nonstop, like hang out with my friends.
It looked like you were having a great time. Like, connecting with your buddies.
My buddies were up there. We played some Smash Brothers.
Classic.
Played some guitar.
Fellowship.
Yeah, a lot of fellowship. and then Saturday was the wedding, which was awesome. It was just really cool to party with everybody. And
where was like the wedding?
It was up in Vermont, so we had to drive like an hour and 40 minutes.
That's kind of pretty. Was it pretty? pretty?
Yeah, it was so pretty, and just like the ride with my friends is so funny. Like,
I love a good little road trip with
man.
like friends, especially like friends that you probably haven't seen in like a hot second.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him a couple months ago. I try to see him at least like once or twice a year.
That's nice.
But that's me going home and just trying to see them and stuff. But it was pretty fun. So, but we partied hard for sure. I was paying for it on Sunday and all the way up until yesterday when
did you get back?
I got back on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was cool. So I had a good time. Shout out to everybody I saw and everybody that
we need to like. I think if we were ever to get sponsors for this, we should get sponsored by like either like those like the like Liquid IV or like any of like the like drinking aid things.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it would be good for us.
Or we could stop drinking as much.
I mean, yes, but I'm just chronically dehydrated. Some of that shit I can't help. I'll drink as much water, and it's just like, well.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so definitely had a good time. But I'm back, and being back, I had to catch that flight, and we went right into maybe some quick hits.
Oh, that was a decent segue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Planes.
Trains, automobiles. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I just didn't want to finish it, because I knew you would. What do we got for some quick hits, V?
So your boy, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Why is it my boy?
Because you're the one. If you go back to like probably like episode episode 2 or 3 or whatever, like it's one of our very early episodes. You bring up like Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Hold on, but I brought him up because he was like, you haven't heard of him, but like at that time I think, and I was like, the song was like blowing up, and I was like, you haven't heard this?
Yeah.
I guess he's my boy.
And
not anymore, but
yeah, now because he's gonna be potentially in jail for like 47 years.
No, but he's gonna get his way out. I think they're calling him a rat. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, they've been calling him a snitch. So he's been testifying. He's had his trials, and so it's all for his like different racketeering and some
essentially he's a rapper that became popular because of social media, and he would troll like the internet by doing like a whole bunch of crazy stuff. He has like rainbow hair, and he ended up getting funded by like some like gangsters. Like they would like they were the Bloods, and they would be in the background of his videos, which would give him credibility, and it just became this whole thing. And you know, he had been kidnapped, and now he's arrested, and a whole bunch of people are getting like put in jail, because of this whole thing and stuff. And so he's gonna like essentially snitch on everybody. Yeah,
so he's been snitching on everybody.
Yeah.
Especially like some fellow rappers, including Cardi B. But even Cardi B has like talked about in the past like her like affiliation or like different things that she had with the Bloods gang. So like that's not like super new news, but it was just it's kind of funny. So like first of all, like part of his plea deal where he could get less time is that he could get into like witness protection program.
Yeah.
But like if you've seen Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's got, as you said, rainbow hair, which is like starting to fade now, but still it's like all bleached, whatever. He's got like a bajillion face and neck tattoos, including the giant 6ix9ine on his forehead. Yeah. And he's got like ones on his hands and all over. And so whatever. And like sometimes he wears these different grills or like has shit with his teeth, whatever. That I don't know how he could go into witness protection, because like someone's gonna be like, are you, especially because of like the age of social media and like that's how he got big, like.
So, I don't know. I just feel like someone's going to get him one way or another. God forbid. But
he's going to be recognizable, especially because he's been snitching on everybody. And it would cost, like, I think it's going to cost, like, tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars to, like, get the amount of, like, shit on his face removed to make him not look like him. And witness protection isn't going to foot that bill. So, like,
well, nowadays I feel like it's easier to, like, change, like, the way you look.
Yeah.
But
maybe he needs to get some of that like
still,
tattoo covering.
No,
makeup.
he's just got to get like plastic surgery or something to change his face.
Yeah,
or something.
But it's gonna cost a shit ton of money, and he's gonna have to pay for that himself.
Right. But yeah, no, I mean, it is kind of crazy to look back on like old episodes and stuff and like see what we talked about in the past and how it's changed and evolved. Like, you literally had no idea who he was like back then, and now because, like 2 years later, he's like a snitch, like rapper that became huge. And
well, because then I heard like I like his song Fifi with Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit goes hard.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he was arrested right before his album dropped.
yeah.
You know, I think was his song one of our slappers? The one with Tory Lanez? I don't know. But
it might have been.
Yeah, but so
it definitely was, because I remember writing out Tekashi 6ix9ine.
What else we got on the topic?
So he but it's kind of funny. So Snoop Dogg's been like, you know, calling him out for being such a snitch and for being like kind of like, you know,
going against the G code.
Yeah, doing all that stuff. But my favorite part of it is he did a post that said, as we watch Tekashi 6ix9ine, or whatever his name is, snitch on everybody, I invite you all to remember Martha Stewart snitch on not one soul during her trial. Baby girl kept it 10 toes down and ate that prison sentence by herself like the true baddie she is. And he's like, that's my motherfucking homegirl. Solid as a rock.
Oh my God.
I think it was like the most unlikely friendship, and like, you know, they have their show.
Yeah.
The Martha and Snoop's potluck dinner party, and I just love it because like he's been trolling the whole Tekashi 6ix9ine thing, especially because like he faced his own different like drug and gang related charges back like in the 90s, so like he understands, like, you know, you don't snitch, but like snitches get stitches. But I just think it's hilarious that he brought up fucking Martha Stewart, like queen of white collar crime, for her stuff. But like she didn't. I mean, she took her sentence. She didn't snitch on nobody. Now she's back to having a fucking show with Snoop Dogg. So
yeah, I mean, but this is different. Like, he
know,
was gonna go away
hilarious
for a while, but you know,
I mean, yeah, because like his
I don't know if it's worth it, because someone's gonna kill you, like, you know what I'm saying, or kill your family until they find you. Like,
yeah, because I think he might have a daughter.
He's got a daughter,
a little like 3-year-old daughter. Like, that's horrifying.
So yeah, it's really bad. So anyways, what else we got?
All right, so Oprah Winfrey was like sidelined from doing her tour and stuff recently because she had like a really bad case of pneumonia, to the point, I mean, like, pneumonia could be fatal, so to the point where, you know, she had to go to a lung specialist and like put her on a bunch of different antibiotics. And like, my thing is, like, if you're the doctor responsible for like someone like Oprah, you're like, I can't fuck this up. And so like, literally, that was this doctor like would call her every day, make sure she was like doing her inhaler, make sure she was taking her antibiotics, things like very like awesome stuff that a doctor should be doing, I guess. But it was just hilarious because like when she came in and got her checkup and was like cleared, good to go, she like the doctor hugged her and it was like, thank you for getting better, because like you don't want to be the doctor that like couldn't save Oprah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, people just would hold that against you. You just can't get business after that. That's the hard part of being a celebrity doctor, I would assume. But I mean, dude, this next one that you got right here, this real life orphan shit.
Okay, yeah. Did you watch the movie The Orphan ever?
Yes.
Okay, I've only watched parts of it. It kind of fucked me up a lot. I couldn't watch. It was
spoiler alert.
Like, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Orphan, which I think is like at least 5 years old at this point.
No, it's definitely like that was when I was a kid, when I actually went to you know, movie theaters to watch movies.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. It was 2009.
Okay. So 10 years ago.
Right.
So there is this couple that, well, I guess now ex couple, but from Indiana, who they're being charged with abandoning their daughter. So they got forced into this like emergency adoption when they were trying to adopt a girl from a Ukrainian adoption agency situation, forced into it. And like when they adopted her, thought she was 6. It's 3 years later, so she would be 9. But they found out different stuff, that she's actually like a 22-year-old with dwarfism, and like this woman would like say like was a sociopath and would try to push the mom into like an electric fence, would stand over them while they slept and would say that she was waiting for the right time to kill them, and would try to put like bleach and other chemicals in their coffee, like saying like,
wow.
When she would be like making the coffee, like she'd like, oh, what are you doing, blah blah blah, like the mom would be, and she'd be like, oh, trying to poison you, like crazy.
She would say that?
Yes. And so like in the premise of the movie is that it's like they adopt this girl and she ends up being like a 33-year-old.
Yeah.
And whatever. And she ends up like killing people and whatever. But like, so they figured out and like they thought it was.
Well, like at the end of it, she ends up like trying to seduce the dad and all that crazy stuff. But.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like, it didn't go that far with this one. But like, yeah, she was trying to, kill them in different ways, so they abandoned her and like ran to Canada because they're like, yo, we can't do this. So like they're being charged for child abandonment, but they're like, yo, this ain't a child. And like, so they've been like figuring out all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if they've adopted her 3 years ago, she was still only 19 if she's 22.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
it's horrifying. So I don't know where this crazy.
That is scary.
It's scary.
It's
shit.
almost scarier than the original movie.
I think it's kind of scary because like it's real, and also it's just scary because it's like they were like, and
well,
they
like
thought,
you like since like of course the movie gives like ideas like to people like this, like
it's like, and it's just like they kind of started getting ideas that she wasn't exactly the age that they perceived she was, because she had like this vocabulary that was larger than any kid her age would have, and she got like her period pretty early. They're like, how come like our 6 or 7 year old has their period? Like, that's kind of crazy.
What?
And like it's just this different stuff, and they're like, and so I think that's when they did different tests and stuff and figured that out, and then they're like, we gotta go.
Oh my god.
So horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, get out of here. My daughter is like weird. Oh, holy cow.
But that's scary. So like, I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't really think I ever need to watch The Orphan in full because that's scary enough.
I remember seeing that in theaters. Yeah, that was a crazy movie.
Crazy movie.
That was before like you would like know like so much from trailers. Like
I felt like I remember seeing those trailers, and I just remember I remember like finding out the spoiler of it like after like the movie came out, and after but it was way later. I felt like nowadays like it's so much easier to find spoilers for stuff.
Right.
Or like
think about how they even like would advertise it without giving away the ending. Like know what I'm saying, the ending's the craziest part, is that the kid is actually like an adult.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
Because I feel like all the trailers I was just like, oh, it's another, because I feel like it's such
the
a
orphan
trope.
is like a murderer.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a trope to have like the creepy little girl in like scary movies.
Right.
So I was like, oh, it's just like a creepy little girl kind of deal. But no, she's not a little girl. She's a full-grown woman.
Jeez, yeah. Well, that's pretty crazy. So how your girl Lizzo? How's she doing?
She's doing good as hell.
Okay.
That's her song.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I wasn't ready with my sound effects, but that definitely deserved one of these.
On your part.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll take it.
But she is, which I find this amazing, but I guess with her being number one again, she's the longest solo female rap number one in Billboard history. But I guess like a lot of other like rap artists like weren't always number one. I feel like it's just a different time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's why these stats like don't really make sense, but it's cool that you can say that, but like someone's gonna take that like right away. Like
I know, it's just interesting to see like how the music landscape changes, especially
I think a couple like episodes ago, that's what I was talking about though, about like like I think they used the example of like Michael Jordan, like he's great and stuff, but people are always going to like, now that's the bar, and now you want to like surpass that and stuff, and greater becomes greater, and you see what can be done, and you're like, well then he can do it, I can do it, and then you end up going further.
Anything he can do, I can do better. Wow.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So we'll give it up to Lizzo for that.
She's doing it. Moving right along.
Yep.
So there's been like a stalker for Miley Cyrus, who's been decently well documented. He like tweets about different stuff, about going to her shows or trying to find her, different things like that, and like has tweeted about different stuff in the past. And I think he's been spotted, or like they know who he is. Like her security team knows who he is from other incidents. But she was performing at the iHeart Music Festival in Vegas. And leading up to that, he was, tweeting a lot about it, about how he's like, I need to impregnate her. Like, I want to spend time with her. Like, she's the only one I care about seeing, blah, blah, blah. It was like all really creepy. And then he was actually at the concert, and they found him, like her security team found him and like detained him. But it's just like crazy.
Well, I mean, what is happening to him then?
He is... But he was arrested. and charged for the threats that he had made.
Jeez.
He's currently in custody. And
yeah, probably get a restraining order.
Yeah, just
be done with it.
It's just kind of crazy how obsessive people
but I
get.
I just feel like people get even more obsessed like after that. Like
it kind of it depends on the especially like most people who like are obsessive like that. Like there's something like a little off in their brains if they get like that kind of obsessive, like something like kind of misfires.
I feel like it's even easier nowadays, like, you know, with social media, like you feel like you know these people, like with like IG stories or Snapchat and stuff. You're like, I know, like you're like, no, me and her are like this, and when we meet, like we're gonna like click, and they're like, who the hell are you? Like,
exactly. That's why. But then also like speaking of social media, like social media is like kind of what he ratted himself out. He played himself.
He's on his own snitch. That's actually a lot of people are snitching on themselves these days. So.
I mean, yeah, it's like, which I guess could be good for people like this, but like, you know, if you're potentially a better person than that, and you're like, you know, you say like one wrong thing in a tweet or something, like, gotta be careful, I guess. 'Cause people could always find it.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it's kind of crazy because there was like a time where like social media was the Wild West, and now like people, because you didn't even know how to use it. I was just talking to my sister about this the other day. You didn't know how to use it, so it's like, you know, nowadays they can just pull up old tweets and use them against you. And it's like, that was in the past. Like, oh, damn.
Know,
like, you never thought about
like,
deleting them and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
like, even back in the days, like, you know, when our Facebook statuses would be, like, is doing whatever. I sometimes, like, when the, like, on this day stuff pops up, I'm like, what was I doing?
Yeah. No, trust me, I do that, too. I mean, I've done a really good job over the years with my posting, but, like 2009 and before is a sketchy time for me.
Yeah,
that's 4 years of like just not knowing how social media, like just learning about Facebook. And
there's some photos, like not like anything like super bad that would ever like get me, like, because I was always good about like not posting photos that would ever be an issue, especially like in college when I was underage. And like
I think I've done a sweep of mine too.
But there's like probably just like some stuff from like some high school stuff that like costumes just on, especially with like different things that pop up in the media now where like different like politicians and stuff are being found like in black or brown face. I never did that because I'm not stupid, but like there could be like maybe my friends' costumes and stuff like that are like I'm associated with, like,
oh yeah, I mean,
maybe don't
true want. But regardless, like I think I'm more like going down a path of life where like I kind of want that stuff like out there, like to be like, this is me, you know, anything that go down like from now on, like that is like okay, like anything I do, like if you're not okay with that, then I don't want to be. I know,
but I'm just saying like I mean more like cultural appropriation stuff. I'm trying to like make sure like none of that is found, just because like it's such a big thing.
No, for sure. Like we were just talking about it the other day, like Gwen Stefani, like, you know, don't speak was so good, and then I just like, you know, me and the other like brown person there were like, yeah, but what about like the time she like culturally appropriated with wearing the bindi? Yeah, like it's like, dude, like just like one stylistic thing, like, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm just joking. I don't really care one way or another.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna discredit her music for that, but it's just kind of like I feel like it's even bigger like with politicians.
There was like a Indian dude in the group, and I think she was dating him, so that's like the response I give.
She was. Yeah. She was.
So
she was. Good point.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I forgot how we got to this point, but
you know, just us. Just us being us.
Well, also then, you know, we got the new Joker movie coming out.
So the new Joker movie is coming out, and
it looks really good.
It looks really good, but dark.
Well, the stuff that I've been hearing about it was that it's a time like piece where like it's like based in I think the 70s or something. But regardless, it actually like relates to a lot of themes that are happening in today's world, and that's what leaves people like leaving the theater being like the conversation like starts there. So I'm guessing this is gonna be like, and it's pretty cool to see that like, you know, someone's portraying the character of Joker, because at one point it's hard to get like past the Heath Ledger like Joker. You know, Jared Leto really tried. He really did. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. At least like I feel like his role in Suicide Squad was like this big.
Well, that's because like it just like they completely messed like fucked him over. Really, he was trying his hardest, but you know, this is a different like angle of how to portray Joker, and it's gonna do good. But like the there has been things in the past when it comes to mass shootings, having to deal with like the Batman, like, you know, showings of these movies, and someone, you know, shot up the whole like Aurora
the
theater.
Aurora, Colorado theater, and especially because that happened, and how this like kind of shooter was portrayed, or like how they portrayed themselves, was kind of Joker-like, and how I guess like, I mean, we haven't seen the new Joker yet, but like supposedly like it portrays like gun violence and things, and in a way that, I mean, makes sense for like what they're trying to portray with the movie, and it's supposed to like, you know, provoke conversation and things.
But
like
also,
that.
like, it's very violent. Like,
It's
even,
very violent.
you know, Joaquin Phoenix was in an interview that I just read about in an article, and they commented on the violence of it. They're like, are you scared that, like, the violence in this movie and how, like, it's very close to the climate we're in right now?
Yeah.
Are you scared that, like, it might, like, actually, because, like, in the movie, Joker, like, incites, like, type of violence throughout the city.
Like that's like the thing. It's
yeah,
like it encourages more.
Right, dude.
Like like the whole thing is like he kind of encourages more gun.
Well, yeah, just violence in general,
Yeah.
and just crime and stuff. And he's like getting it going in the actual movie. So he's like, do you think like the movie, and Joaquin Phoenix walked out of it, and after like a negotiation or whatever, he came back and he's like, you know, I just didn't think you were going to ask that question and stuff. But, you know, what do you think? Like, do you think that stuff does like,
I mean,
give people ideas? Like, we just talked about The Orphan. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's definitely always going to be like copycats.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't think you can avoid that. I just think, you know, like, do I think like they shouldn't put this movie out? No, I don't really think I think that fully. But
I mean, not put it out, but like put it in this theater.
Well, yeah. So they're not showing it at this theater, which honestly, I kind of think that's smart. Like, if you really want to see it.
Well, I don't know if it's smart, but I think it's out of respect.
It's out of respect.
It's one that you can, you know, afford to just not do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's.
It would be unfortunate. It's not worth it. Like, if someone were to come in and shoot, but the problem is like, that's the whole thing about terrorism, is that they win when you do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like, yes, and I kind of agree. Like, we don't want to have to live a life where we have to like restrict that kind of stuff because of, you know, domestic terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
But also I mean, it's out of respect of the victims of that situation. And also I feel like nobody would be buying tickets to go see it at that theater anyways.
I think people would still go. You know, I don't know. Like, if you think about like Pulse, like the nightclub, like if that was still a place, do you think people would still go? Probably not.
I mean, yeah,
like,
I don't know. Yeah, it kind of depends.
Or would people go out of respect?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But and so they urged Warner, like the families of the victims wrote a letter to Warner Brothers Pictures to urge them to, you know, like, obviously we're not asking you to take this out of theaters, like, we just, you know, worked with our theater here, like, and they're not showing it or whatever, but like, we're urging you to donate money, maybe part of the proceedings, whatever, to different gun violence awareness or anti-gun violence charities, organizations, etc. And they responded. They didn't like really say yes or no to that, but they did say like how critical of an issue that gun violence is in our society today, and extended their sympathies and things like that. They said our company has a long history of donating to victims of violence, including Aurora, and in recent weeks our parent company joined other business leaders to call on policymakers to enact bipartisan legislation to address this epidemic. So, I mean, they're like kind of like a big corporation. They're like, we're putting some money towards it.
Well, that's like, think about like our company. If like one of the stations did something for Aurora, like they could say like, you know, our company did stuff for Aurora.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like a big company that like, they just, if one like sanction like did something like for it, they're like, yeah, we did something. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and they bring up the whole idea of like the functions of storytelling is provoking conversation around these issues, blah 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 blah. Like, you know,
And I
we're
agree.
not endorsing this violence, obviously.
I agree.
But
no one was doing this like back in the Scarface days. Maybe they were. I don't know.
I mean, it just wasn't as like heard about.
Well, I'm just like saying people complain about everything nowadays. Like,
well, like I think it was.
That has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with them. It's a movie about the Joker. There's been the movie about the Joker like over and over again. It's like, yeah, it's violent, but like there's other violent movies. So if it's not the Joker, it's like, are you like, what if it was Superman? Like, you're gonna be like, don't play Superman there.
Well, I mean, that's like, even think about like what we talked about weeks ago about that one. I forget what that movie was even gonna be called that got pulled from the theaters because it was like all about whatever, like hunting down different people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It was like The Purge or something like that.
Yeah, like a Purge adjacent, which I don't know how they keep putting out like Purge movies. I hate the whole Purge. I've said it so many times on this. The whole Purge concept. But
people like it. I mean, that's what's cool about those movies is that like you can think like, you know, there was a world where, you know, the one night of year you can just get away with like murder, robbery, whatever kind of crime, and just like, you know, get it all out, you know, do whatever you need to do to like right your wrongs or whatever, but you only get that one night, and then everyone's a law-abiding citizen for the rest of the 364 days. Like, it's an interesting concept, to be honest. It's horrible, yeah, but like, you know, I think people like to watch it as a movie, you know.
I know, yeah.
So I know I'd like to watch crazy stuff like that. So yeah. Well, what made you go yikes this week? I know this one definitely made me go yikes when I watched it today. So
it was hilarious. So what made me go yikes was, the Emmys was this past weekend. And Kim Kardashian and Kendall Jenner presented the awards for like reality series. Yeah. And so what they said was meant to be a bit, but they didn't know it was a bit. Like, the teleprompter, they were reading it, they didn't really understand it was supposed to be a bit. So like they said, like, our family knows firsthand how truly compelling television comes from real people just being themselves. And so like the Emmy audience laughed because like
yeah, that was crazy.
The Kardashians, it
was like
yeah, like, and you could tell like their faces were like, what?
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was definitely embarrassing because it's like, dude, shut up. Like, I would have, if I saw that, I'm like, yo, people are gonna like, people are gonna laugh at us.
They're not, like, I would never.
They're so not real, especially the one that
not,
said it. Like, you
they're not
know, Kendall
real.
Jenner might be like as real as like the realest one out of them.
Probably.
But even though, like, you know, she was just thrown into like being a fashion supermodel, like, because of her family, like, you know, she's great at what she does. Don't get me wrong, she's amazing. I'm sure she worked hard to get there, but no, she was definitely like Kim Kardashian's little sister, and she had some opportunities.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's just funny. Like, yeah, they're definitely not real, and they're definitely not. I mean, it's just like some of their stuff. Also, like, I'm a sucker. I've watched plenty of the Kardashians because it's my laundry TV.
Yeah,
like,
I could watch it. It's never like I would turn it off.
No, I mean, it's definitely like, it's nice brain numbing, like laundry TV, like chores TV, something to have on. Yeah. And be like, oh, what's Scott up to now, kind of thing. But like, it's just like, I think it's also kind of a yikes thing that they weren't really briefed that was supposed to be read as like a bit, as a joke. Like, so. Oh,
it was supposed to be a joke?
Well, of course it was.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, somebody, like, I think was like playing with them, dude. Like, they're like, no, they got set up. That's crazy.
So it's just like a double, triple yikes, just because it's like they got laughed at. They definitely were not pleased.
If you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely
definitely Google it. It's a funny little moment because like they definitely
well, I mean,
they definitely did not expect, and you could just tell in their faces, they're like, what? But I mean, thank God they are, you know, very well media trained, and just kind of like kept rolling, because they could have been like, what?
Well, I mean, did they keep going? Because it cuts off like when
they just, like, you know, they finished like saying the stuff for did the award, so they definitely just kind of kept, but you could kind of tell they looked at each other, like their faces were like,
Kim Kardashian and Kendall Jenner were 100% not briefed about being laughed at during the Emmys.
Yes.
Like, what? I don't get it. Like, were they? It was supposed to be a joke, but she said it seriously.
I don't. That's what it like. That's what sources say is that it was supposed to be like a bit. Like,
our family knows firsthand how truly compelling television comes from real people just being themselves,
telling their stories unfiltered and unscripted.
Here are the nominees for Outstanding Competition.
That's so funny. Oh man, like they're just like, why is everyone laughing?
Well, and you could tell like people like were like they're joking. Right? You could tell like at the beginning
Yeah.
people were like half laughing.
They're like,
and
what?
They're like, no, like this is a joke.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Well,
Oh, good.
what do we want to talk about for our main topic? I guess we should have picked this before
We should have.
on the show, but
I don't know. You Russian roulette it. You pick one.
well, I think I
don't know. Which
I
one?
like this first one.
Okay.
Why have we gotten to a point that people feel like they need to take a break from dating?
Like as a society, I feel like we see like I feel like I hear. I feel like this past weekend I've been giving so much dating advice, which just sounds like funny to me that like I'm giving dating advice.
Yeah.
But I feel like I give like a lot of advice in general. I just feel like people come to me for advice, even though like I don't know if I always take my.
See, mine now I think is like a lot more of like self advice, not like dating. I can't give dating advice, I don't think, anymore. I can only give like advice about what it's like to just be a person trying to self improve for the last 3 years by himself. That's the only advice I could really give at the moment.
That's good advice too.
Well, I think it is, because like a lot of times, like, you know, couples are different. I think it starts with the individual and how they're perceiving the other person, and you know how they perceive themselves. Like if you're not self-aware of like the things you're like doing wrong, like, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like you always gotta like kind of be like hunt it with yourself before you could fully give like hunt it to another person. You know?
And that's the worst part, is that like if you can't get someone to realize things about themselves, and then you take it a step further and actually tell them what they're doing wrong, like possibly, and they don't hear it, like that's an issue, right?
Yeah, which probably could cause why people get so fed up with dating, because it's just like, I feel like sometimes people can like feel like they either need to like fix other people, or it's just like exhausting, like feeling out this whole idea of like, what are you looking for, or like, you know, feeling out like, well, I want this to be casual, or I want this to be this, or just all these different things. I just feel like people are always like crossing wires, because I feel like a lot of times people are going into dating or whatever not fully understanding like kind of where they're at themselves, and
I think we need
like,
to,
they get a burnout.
Yeah, I think
personal
we
burnout,
as opposed to having like a break from dating, which, you know, okay, I think that's cool. I think that's a good thing for people. Take a break from dating, but you know, maybe we need to rethink what dating is.
Yeah, like I feel like it shouldn't feel like such a chore that you feel like you need to take a break from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I think you know, like right now, like in the point I'm at, like people, you know, I have a lot of things going on. I have a podcast, I have work, I have working out, you know, I have like weekend obligations, like to parties or whatever, people's birthdays, all this stuff going on. So that's like constant. Like the more and more that time goes on, the more and more I have more things filling up my weekends and stuff. So, you know, I think when it comes to dating, you know, there shouldn't be so much. I mean, if you're into the whole like two people like always hanging out, having to be with each other, sleep with each other each night, and like wake up together, if you're in that world, then good for you. If you make it work, that's good for you. But like, I think a lot of times when we get back to the point of like why people take a break from dating, it's because like we're not at points that we're happy with, like as adults. Like it's just a different time. Like being 31 years old, you know, I feel like I'm just getting started, like, you know, with where I want to be and go, and I still like need to focus on myself and have my own time to get there. And you know, it'd be nice to be able to date a person, or you know, date multiple people like that, get your schedule, and they're not like getting mad at you, or like, you know, expecting you to call at a certain time, or you know, all that different stuff. So it's like, you know, I think, you know, when I'm not saying that like open relationship is like what like I think it needs to be or anything, but it's like, you know, just more space, like, you know, like understanding if you guys have a talk of like trust and you're only two people hooking up, that's cool. But like if you guys also could agree, like maybe like why don't we set some time like aside? Like I feel like you and Chuck do that a lot, like, you know, where you set like
we're
time.
Really good about I feel like for us, and I feel like this is like an important thing for many couples or whatever, even like friends, honestly, is like actually like, you know, setting, like we have like set date nights. Like we usually hang out Tuesdays and or Thursdays, and then maybe one weekend night or day, kind of depending. But like we early on in our relationship, because we're both like, everyone's busy. I fucking hate seeing, oh, I'm so busy. Like it's just such a fucking crutch.
Yeah.
But like we both understood each other's schedules and where we were at, and understanding like how those, what they're pretty much set. I mean, he's a personal trainer, so sometimes some things get kind of moved around with either depending on like clients or different class times or like whatever. But like we know for sure that like Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, we can both set those times aside, and like that's kind of like both a flex for both of us, because like he, like, we both made sacrifices. Like I can't go to my dance class I like to go to on Tuesday night, so I have to go on a different night. But like kind of like we understand, those are our set times, and I feel like it's been so much more beneficial for us to like understand that, and also like it's kind of fun to like be able to look forward to that every week, knowing that like,
I think that's really dope, honestly.
Like,
that's
yeah.
kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because really Tuesdays and Thursdays I work out. We do podcasts on Wednesdays. That's like the middle of the week. So it's like we have to rethink this anyways. Like, so it's like Mondays I can hang out. Thursday nights I could probably hang out after that. And then, I still want to be able to see my friends. I never want to be in one of those relationships where you just like hide away and like, I want to be able to like bring her out or like, hang out alone, like, whatever it is. Like, I feel like you got a good thing going right now.
I do. I am very thankful, but and like that definitely took like some like, us maneuvering and figuring out and like understanding like what each other like needed and expectation wise. And I feel like that's why people get burnt out on dating so quickly, is because people don't communicate like those different like expectations or needs well enough, or then like people get frustrated and then they're like, okay, well, I'm not getting this or that out of this person, and I feel like I'll never get this or that out of like a significant other, so I feel like I need to take a break. Like it's just too much work. And like I feel like all good relationships, like it's not, whenever people are like, when you're in the right relationship it's easy, and I don't really think like that's completely true. Like I feel like, and we've talked about this before, like obviously like we put in the work to figure out like what kind of cadence would work, and like we still that's still sometimes like in flex, and but because of that, because like we put in some of that initial work, we were like, I feel like I'm able to, like, I don't feel as self-conscious, like where I feel like in the past with other relationships I'd feel self-conscious if I wasn't getting maybe a certain amount of attention, or like somebody wasn't texting me back, or like whatever, because I'd be like, okay, well, what's going on? But like for Chuck and I now, like I feel that like he was just gone for 3 weeks in Paraguay, and we video chatted once and WhatsApp messaged like a couple of times during those 3 weeks, but I never felt like, but because I kind of like, I wanted him to go on his vacation and have his time, and I was living my life here, kind of doing my own thing. I feel like we kind of set those expectations. We kind of knew what was going on, so I never felt like.
And he can come back and miss you. Like, he can actually, like, miss you and come back and be excited to see you. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, man.
I've never been, like, one of those girls that I sometimes I felt like maybe I was more of someone who, like, needs someone talking to me every day. But, like, I feel like as I've grown up, I've become more and more, like, I don't really need somebody talking to me every day. And I feel like some people might need it more than others, but I feel like sometimes that's like more hinged on the insecurity of being like, well, I want to make sure that they still care about me or something.
Right.
And I feel like when people don't fulfill those needs, it's like when people get upset about dating as a whole, because they're like, oh, well, nobody's gonna understand, like, if like I'll be single forever because like no guy or no girl can like step up to the plate for like what I'm looking for, like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different mentalities about how like you should find your significant other just in this conversation alone, and I can't even say that any of them are really better than the other. It's just like which one works for you.
Yeah.
Like you do have the one where you know what you want and you go get it, girl, or whatever. Yeah. And good for you. You like and if you can do it, then do it.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. Like, but for me, like I feel like I think I'm more in the mode of like when it starts getting too much, like where I start getting like, oh my goodness, like I don't have time for anything because like, and you don't want to hurt people's feelings. So you're like, you're kind of like serving that over, actually being like, I'm excited to see you. I just like need today and tomorrow and maybe the next day to work on this stuff so we can like, actually enjoy each other's time.
Yeah, because you want to actually be able to give the other person the kind of attention and time that they deserve. And I like was listening to a different podcast and someone was like, it was actually Nick Viall's podcast. And he was talking about how like this girl that he'd begun like hanging out with or chatting with, like he invited her to like go to this like whatever sports event with him and like some of his friends. And then he kind of realized like he's really into sports. And he knew, and like she was like, oh yeah, I'll like come by to hang out, like I'll probably stop by or like whatever. And he knew like he was gonna be kind of like broing out and whatever, but he kind of like tried to like tell her, that like, she might not enjoy it as much as he was gonna enjoy it for just different reasons, and like didn't want her to feel like he was, discounting their time together or anything, but he came off as more of like, don't come.
Yeah.
Don't come. Like, actually don't come now. But, and like, so it's kind of like, you always have to toe that line of, knowing how to communicate with someone, being like, okay, like I do want to like give you this time.
Well, I think people wait too long to communicate sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if he had
like,
said it beforehand.
Yeah, he last minute dropped it. So it's kind of like flaking.
Right.
So then it's like that's never going to, and like, so she never wanted to talk to him ever again.
Yeah.
Because like, especially as like, I feel like a lot of like women, like if you, like the guy that you like or whatever you've been talking to, like it's like, hey, especially like girls like love to be invited, I feel like, to like meet like their significant other, their potential significant other's friends, like that's like a big step.
Yeah.
And so
it actually is. I
think
know
it is a big step.
Well, I think it's like, it's the mindset of like, I don't care what my friends think about her, or like, my friends would be a good like, gauge of like, because you want your friends to all get together, like you want the friends, like like the TV show, like
you just like, you don't want to, like as you said before, like you don't want to like be able, like I'm very social. We're both very social. Like, I don't want to have to, like, always have to just reserve, like, a specific different time if I want to see, like, my significant other. Like, if I want to be like, okay, well, I want to, like, include you in my other plans. Like, I think this would be fun, like, whatever. And so, and especially, like, so you might get, like, as the other person being asked to do this, you might get hyped up. You might get your hair done. You might, like, just, like, kind of, like, get prepped and ready. And then if someone kind of drops the whole, like, I don't think you should come anymore, like, that's...
Yeah, it's the old okey doke, the pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just going back to like why people might want to take a like pause on breaking, like a break. Break on dating, is if they're not good at it, like if they're like making bad decisions.
What do you consider like someone who's like not good at dating?
Well, first of all, it'd be like to me it starts with like the idea of having a type. That's like one. And yeah,
in this house we hate
types. We ain't got no type.
I ain't got no type.
No. Bad bitches is the only thing that I like. Hey. But that's one thing. Secondly,
yeah, you can't box yourself off like that. I just feel like you really like close yourself down to possible like people who can make you like
just
so
life is so beautiful
happy.
And like there's so many people that could like bring so much to the table.
Friends that just like actually a really good friend of mine recently who like broke from her typical type and then she just started dating some new guy and she's like, I pushed back for a while because like I thought about what other people would think because he's like not usually the type of guy I go for, like whatever, blah blah blah, but like he makes me so happy and like we have so much fun together, blah blah blah. I'm like, then that's all that matters. Like why? Like, or like, I just feel like sometimes people, like, you should be attracted to somebody, like, you need to be attracted, but I feel like sometimes people think, like, you can only be attracted to, like, if you're not immediately attracted to, like, their physical, like, because you have a physical type, then I feel like you just really...
Yeah, it's hard to get over the physical part of it because, like, it's just... I think we're programmed.
Of course. I mean, animalistically.
We're just not even social media has programmed us to like think we want something else that like we actually don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if we were blind? Would it even matter? To Ray Charles, I would, but you ever see the movie? He used to like feel girls' like wrist, and if he felt like if he couldn't put his like hand around it or something, like he knew how big a girl was because of the size of her wrist, and he'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I got it."
Yikes, Ray.
Yo, Ray Charles, dude, that's savage.
I'm like putting my own
Georgia?
hands. I'm putting my own hands around my wrist, being like, "Fuck,
Damn, I
Ray
got some. What are they, like? Not cankles, but
Yeah, what would
yeah,
you call
I don't know,
those?
wankles. But they'd be called Christs or something. But anyways, yeah, no, I mean, like if you're like bad at like dating, you know, I think you should take a break from it because like I said, back to the beginning of this conversation, you have to focus on yourself first.
Yeah.
Like if
So,
you're
like,
not
if you're
happy,
bad at dating, there's probably something wrong with what you got going on.
yeah, if you're acting like if and it's like noticeable to other people, like think about it. Like if you're not even in dating situations and people are still having like your friends are a good gauge of like, you know, where you're at. And if you're not listening to what they're saying to you, or at least like, you know, taking some constructive criticism, like if your friends are straight hating, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if you have like a friend that you do trust, like, you know, that's not there to hurt you. And if you're like smart enough to not think that, like if someone's saying something like, you know, to you, that they don't hate you, and like when they say it, like, you know, you probably shouldn't be dating. Like, you know, like people, you have to be like a good person, and you have to be able to like talk to people. And, you know, if you're finding yourself running into situations where like the same thing keeps happening, it's like it's probably
yeah.
you.
What's the common denominator?
Right, the common denominator, you know. So I really think, yeah, you gotta type that in. We got this is one of those episodes where we're just getting titles left and right. But if you guys don't know, like we really just try to like hone in on a title, something we said like on the show. So a little peek behind the curtain.
Peek
there.
behind the curtain. We love it.
Anywho, but yeah, like, you know, I think it is smart for people to take a break. But, you know, putting these like these walls up, like inherently or not, like you also could, that's like same as like having a type. You should always be open to anything, you know,
Especially because I feel
it could come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I feel like the people who like are the ones who like are, you know, not as open are always the ones that are like act like really like wanting a partner, wanting a significant other in their lives. I feel like they're always the ones that are like, I don't want to be single anymore, like whatever. And maybe that's because like they're looking for like some missing part of them that they or whatever. But like I just feel like it's like if you're really actively like that's what you're looking for, like you want a relationship, you want a significant other, you want to whatever you're typifying that as, then you have to be more open. You have to put yourselves in more situations. Like I feel like I see, like I'm in different like Facebook groups, like social Facebook groups for like, you know, people in the area or whatever, and there's always like women on them who are like, oh, like blah blah blah, I'm really trying to meet like a good guy, and like I just like feel like I can't meet anybody, but I really don't want to go to whatever, like how can I meet a good guy? And like somebody like replied to like that, being all like, you got to start saying yes to like every like social opportunity instead of saying no. Like if you're not like, you can't expect like your dream person to like fall into your lap, like, or even with dating apps, like you got to like give like people the benefit of the doubt of like a first date, unless like they seem like a total creep or like whatever. But like you got to like actually go and do it. Like it's just not gonna happen.
What I think what also coincides with that is like, what was my point? What goes with that is like also knowing like when you know oh shit, man, I lost it. But yeah, you're right. Like I think like if you don't like give yourself a chance like with other people, you're closing yourself off to things that like you could put like you ever see like rom-coms could actually happen, like, you know, if you like open up like yourself to it, you know.
I mean, like sometimes I think about like, I mean, I've definitely met people off of apps. I mean, I haven't been on an app in a while, but like when I did meet people off of apps, it was definitely like, you know, I just like did it. Like I had quick conversations, made dates, and like got out there and did it. And then, or like, you know, I mean, I don't think you always have to say yes to every situation, like if you're not really feeling
well, I remember what I was gonna say.
Good. I was trying to get you to trigger.
I got it. It's learning from mistakes, like you know what I'm saying, or learning from each of these dates. Like, you know, if you just keep going and like you kind of have, like, that's kind of like having an ex, like, you know what I'm saying, like you have to learn like the good things that came out of that, like, you know, seeing what you grew, how you grew from it. And that's like pretty much in every situation, but especially with dating, it's like, know that when you dated this person, you didn't like that about like them. So like maybe that's not a quality that you're looking for, but that doesn't mean that like looks is just one part of it, you know? So you have to think about all these different things. Like, I mean, having a checklist is one thing, but like expecting every check mark to get checked off is like ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like I feel like I always have mixed feelings about,
that's a jackpot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like I always have mixed feelings about the whole like, well, write a list of what you're looking for, like kind of thing, or like whatever. Just because I feel like a lot of people get into, I'm like a list maker. I love checking shit off. But a lot of people, like for them with that, when it comes to like human beings, people get into this mentality that it's like, well, if I don't fill every box, then like this isn't meant to be. This isn't gonna work out. Which I just think. You're not filling. There's no way you on the other end is filling every box. Like there's just no way. Like we're imperfect creatures. Like there's just no way.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And you know, so it's just more of just being better at being a human being. I think is just going to be like a lot of the answers to a lot of these.
I feel like that's just like a general thing about like life, dating in general. Is just like you can't like just even like the whole thing, like you can't pour from like an empty pitcher kind of deal. Like you gotta fill yourself.
That was one thing that was actually really annoying about last week's finale of The Bachelor, if we are to go back, because what's her name, Katie, was just like, my tank is empty. Like she obviously read that somewhere and was like,
oh no, for sure, she like saw a couple too many inspirational quotes.
Right,
on,
she's like,
on
you know,
Instagram,
my tank.
And then that's all she could hang on to.
It was good the first time, yeah. And she's like, I just have an empty tank. Somebody needs to go fill it up.
I mean, like, it's true. I mean, it's a true sentiment, but she definitely like overplayed it. It's like, girlfriend, we get it.
Yeah, stop saying tank. Tank.
Tank.
Say tank.
Say tank one more time. Tank.
Oh man. So well, that's hilarious. Great way to end it. Do we have any Bachelor news going on this week?
So just like quick congrats to our Alabama Hannah, because this past week on Dancing with the Stars she got the highest score of the night. So
wow.
Like, damn.
I'm telling you that Bachelor Nation power is for real now.
Well, especially, I mean, and like she's one of the first like bachelorettes that's ever been on it. Well, she is the first ever. She is the first ever bachelorette that's ever been on. Yeah. Wow. They've never had a bachelorette. Like they've never pulled from like Bachelorette.
That's ridiculous.
But so, and I just feel like, you know, she's surprised.
Honestly, the Bachelorette has the potential to be even bigger than the Bachelor nowadays.
I just feel like the Bachelorette, I feel like they try to spice it up or add interest in the Bachelorette seasons more. I feel like we keep getting the same old boring ass dudes for the Bachelor these days, and they really think about it. They rely on the women to create the drama for like the Bachelor seasons, and then like, because it's a women-led show for the Bachelorette seasons, they're like, women will create the drama. Yeah. Because it's just like dumb men being like, I'm going to punch you. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel you.
But, so good for her. But Tyler Cameron, the hottest of the hottest from Hannah's season.
Yeah, he is really hot.
He's so hot, dude.
Yeah.
I
just followed him the other day. Well, just because he got good, like, he's got these, like, modeling pics with, like, dope-ass outfits. I'm like, outfit inspiration.
Yeah, no, he does good modeling gigs. I will give it to him. And also, I just feel like he's decently down to earth. Like, for being as hot as he is, he just seems, like, kind of normal.
Yeah.
But anywho, he like had an interview that was kind of coded. I don't know if I totally believe how he phrased this, but you know, asked about the whole him and Gigi thing, and like he kept playing it off as being like, you know, we're having fun, we're hanging out, we're enjoying time together, like we're good friends, like she's a really good friend, like whatever. But I mean, like, how good of a friend are you?
I can imagine. If
you're going to the Netherlands to be with her family for like one of her family members' funerals, especially like
funeral?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to boing her over that.
Especially because like then her brother like Anwar brought, you know, his girlfriend Dua Lipa to it. Like, I mean, it's just like
he went to a funeral for her?
Yeah.
Wow.
So my thing is just like, yeah, you're good friends, but you're not just good friends.
Yeah.
Like,
you guys are.
But so like we'll see how, like, you know, I feel like he can't
go wrong.
He said it in the interview. He's like, you know, I've done the public dating life through the show and everything. I'm trying to like kind of, it's hard to revert back though, but he's like, I'm trying to do like stuff more privately this time. So
yeah. No, you're just holding out for a bigger star.
I feel like that's coy for being like, we're dating, but I don't really want this to be like the focus, especially if he's like trying to like actually like keep doing his modeling thing, because he was doing modeling a little bit before, but now I think he really wants to like focus on modeling whatever, which like, damn bull, you've got the body and face for it, keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
But like I feel like he doesn't want,
it because of her.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I mean, can't blame him for that.
Yeah, no, you can't.
But down, do your thing.
Well, why don't we get into our slapper of the week? This one is a song that I heard over the weekend that became kind of like the theme of the whole weekend.
It slaps.
Yeah, it's a bop for sure.
That bass drops, and you're like, damn,
yeah,
I gotta go twerk.
I heard it for the first time. My friend, I'm just gonna do my shout out, one of my shout outs now, but my friend Ryan Dunleavy, what's up, bro? Got to see him over the weekend, my high school buddy, and he I think he was the one playing this. Like, I don't know, I heard it in my friend Andy's car first, but I think Ryan was playing it, but he kept playing it. Like, we saw the video, and I just, we haven't had a true like rap song like as a slapper of the week, I feel like in a while, and
that's our bread and butter, baby.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, it's not that I hate rap music nowadays, it's just like, I don't feel like it's worth like even bringing to our listeners. Actually,
it depends. I feel like a lot of stuff isn't like pure rap anymore. I feel like stuff's like rap fusion, which like I don't hate.
Well, regardless, like, I still want to bring good music that, like, if you guys are looking for music going to the weekend, this is what Slapper of the Week is. Like,
to the Future Bachelor podcast playlist. It's like, sometimes I, like, pop back into it during the workday, just, like, if I'm, like, I don't know what to listen to. And
honestly, it's a good go-to.
It's so fucking good.
It's a good go-to, like, at parties. Like, because, like, anytime, like, I just need to, like, quit. They're like, Cy, DJ. I have, like, already a pre-made list of all of, like, the good old songs and good new songs.
Yeah, good old songs, and kind of, like, the old songs are kind of good when you get a little bit more drunk, and people feel like singing along. It's a good time.
So yeah, without further ado, this is the artist is YBN Cordae, and the song is called Have Mercy, like Uncle Jesse used to say in Full House. Slapper of the Week, Future Bachelor. Slapper of the Week, Have Mercy by YBN Cordae.
Mercy.
That should be a good one for you to get going this weekend.
Honestly, it's a good one. Yeah, good one. People put this kind of on your, like, I have a playlist for like my pregame or like my getting ready playlist. I feel like a lot of women, like getting ready is part of the ritual.
Right.
But like this is going on there.
Yeah.
As a good like kind of like I'm like doing my makeup.
That one gets
like,
you hyped. Hey. Ooh. Oh,
hey.
What do you got? All right, what do you got for some shout outs?
I wanted to shout out my new friend Jordan Blasingame. He was the one visiting, and he bought all my drinks at our brunch, so like good for him.
Dope.
Thanks, man. And then I wanted to shout out my friend Morgan because she started a new job, and I wanted to shout her out.
Shout out to Morgan. Congrats. Well, I gave my shout out for Ryan earlier, before the song, but I just
no more for you, dude.
Yeah, you got enough today. But I wanted to shout out my homie Luke Dow. He's the one that I maybe shouted him out before on the show, but
I feel like I do shout outs like if I love you, man.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, dude, you deserve another one. You deserve more. Yeah, unlike Ryan Dunleavy, no, but Luke, thank you so much for always letting me crash at your crib when I come back home, and always just being a good friend, bring me to the airport. Oh my God. So like I've been really cutting it close with these airport, like I got
because you just like you're like the airport, but like the plane don't wait on you.
No, it don't. But I've been really lucky. Like the last 10 times I've flown, like I just literally like cut it so close, because I have TSA pre-check, and I just like get through that thing, and then like I like literally just walk onto the plane. Like I don't wait for any of those lines. They're like roll or zone 1. I'm like, doop. I just go out right at zone 1. I don't even wait for it.
You're making fun of me scamming. You're the biggest scammer.
Well,
when it comes to that,
the airport's a scam.
Yeah,
because
you're the biggest.
I have to scam back. Like I feel like all that stuff was made for brown people. So I don't. Yeah, so anyways, so essentially, I was cutting it really close. I perfectly timed it though. We're out the door, and it's just like, dude, this is perfect time. I'm gonna be chilling, and I'm like, oh shit, where's my wallet? And like we had been already driving for like 5-10 minutes.
My anxiety just spiked.
Yeah, so like we had to turn around and I get to the house and I can't find the wallet anywhere. And I'm like sweating. I'm like running room to room trying to find. I'm gonna puke. And finally, like he goes, all right, just let's retrace your steps. When's the last time you got it? I was like, I bought us dinner last night. And then he was like, all right, so where'd you put it after? I took a nap after that, and I think it must have been in my pocket. So I took it out of my pocket and I put it on the floor under the couch because I didn't want anybody to like kick it around. And there it was under the couch, and I was like, let's go. And we like took off, and eventually I got like right to the airport, like right there, like calling zone 1. I was like, here we go. I put my seatbelt on. They're like, take off, and I was like, let's go.
Only you would be like, let me put this under the couch for safekeeping. And
Right.
forget it.
I know. That's like my mom and me. She's like, I hid it in a really good spot, but now I can't find it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was
So
my
good.
birthday.
You played yourself. You played.
Well, apparently you got a present that's not coming for like 4
Yeah,
weeks.
fuck. Whenever I get it,
Well,
I'll forget about it by that time.
Veronica has this like really like she's so curious. Like if you like you're like, hey Veronica, guess what? And you're like, she's like, what? And you're like, never mind. She's like, no, tell me,
biggest fucking
tell
pet
me,
peeve.
please.
I
Or like
just
if you're
like to
laughing at
know-
something on your phone, she's like, what's so funny?
Yeah,
You're
I
like, she's like,
I
what's so
just
funny?
like to know shit. I just like to know everything.
So I don't tell you anything.
I know, because you love to terrorize me. And my damn boyfriend got me a gift from his trip in Paraguay, and he didn't put it in his bag. He put it in his friend's bag. He thought it was going in the friend that was coming back to America, but it was actually in the bag with the friend that's staying in Paraguay with her family for a while. And so he's like, oh, yeah, you won't get that in 4 weeks. Well, I'm like, why don't you tell me? Because I'll forget about it. I wouldn't forget.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you put it on your planner, your calendar.
no, like literally, I'm putting it in my planner to remind him that I need my gift.
But as a phone alarm, that'd be funny.
I'm such a bitch.
Yeah, like no, my phone. He wakes up to it one day. He's like, "Oh shit, she put an alarm on her phone. This is crazy." But yeah, so that's what's up. Well,
I would set it for the time, like if he like stays over and he has to wake up early to like go train somebody, I'd set it for the time for when he has to.
right, exactly. He's like,
You're like, what alarm is this? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Take my
she's
phone.
so sneaky. But yeah, so I don't have any plans for this weekend, so I'm just gonna be like playing by ear. So I'm sure like some fun stories will come out of that. You'll be going on any girls trip with
I'll
your
be
family.
I'll be up north
Yeah.
in Milwaukee with my mom, my aunt, my grandma, my cousin.
That's what's up. Well, next week we got episode 80. It's gonna be dope. Yeah, we made it.
80
It's
and Grady.
It's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. 80. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I gotta start with an 80s song.
Oh, this is
Write that down.
This is your alley.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
your alley.
All right, well, guys, we'll see you next week in the 80s when we're back with a special episode of Future Bachelor. We're throwing
It's
it back.
always special.
Yeah, so make sure you rock in all your 80s gear next week when you listen, because it's going to be one of those.
Yeah, change into it
Right.
just to listen.
Exactly. Get your whatever, I don't know what's 80s anymore. Your jeans, your jean jackets,
like
your bright
neon.
neons, and
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like 90s and 80s gets like mixed up
They
a lot
do
too.
a little bit. I feel like more people wear more 80s stuff for 90s.
Yeah, that's true. Well, anyways, do whatever, the internet tells you to dress like. And we'll see you next week on Future Bachelor. My name is Cy.
I'm Veronica.
And we love you guys. We'll see you next week. All right. Deuces.
Bye.
Future Bachelor Podcast.